So, what's up, guys? So, I've had a lot of people asking for updates as far as a project I've been working on goes, so figured it's time for a video on it. Welcome to my little workshop. Sorry it's a mess. No, not that. Not today. That is my son's Cleary Owl, but I do want to do one on that, and I will put out a video on that in the future because that is a awesome little bike. Nope. Today we're talking about our Haro Subvert that we've been working on, and as you can see, I ride it. Had a nice ride yesterday. A little muddy out, not too bad though. Try to stay out of the soft stuff as much as I could, but it is what it is in the Northeast. So I've got a few hundred miles on the bike now, and so far it's what I've expected. There are a few things that have popped up, so I'm going to go down the list as far as pros and cons, as far as what I've found with the bike, what I like, what I don't like. There are a few things I don't like at all, and what I've done to it so far. So let's start with the pros. Pros first. 27.5 tire. This tire is fun. I've got a lot of buddies that are riding full suspension bikes now, and I've found that I can really keep up with them a lot better than I could on my old Salsa. And my old Salsa was a 26-inch tire bike. So rolling over roots and rocks and stuff, it wasn't a strong point, but I didn't want to go to a full fat tire bike. Just they felt like you kind of guided the bike in a general direction, and then the bike decided where it wanted to go. This bike is a really happy medium as far as that goes. Tire pressures, I've settled on 25 in the front and 20 in the back. The Kenda tires that it's got on it, it's the Kenda Sports, which you can see there, kind of the Kenda Haddocks. They're a little dirty, but I gotta say that when it comes to grip, I have not had any issues. They've got a really nice gradual breakaway when you lean them over in a corner, and you can tell what the tire is going to do. I have not been caught off guard at all going into corners or over roots or ruts or rocks or anything like that. So thumbs up for the tires. The 1x10 setup. This is my first time using a dedicated 1x10 drivetrain. It's the Shimano SLX with a clutch derailleur, and I'll tell you what, combined with the chain guard that Haro puts on this, it is so nice and quiet going over bumps and jumps and stuff. It had a guide for the front. I took it off. I didn't see the point. I figured if I'm using a clutch derailleur with a 1x10 setup, why do I need a guide as well? And I haven't. I haven't dropped the chain once, and you can tell, like I said, it gets ridden. So that's staying off for good. The other bright point as far as this bike goes are the brakes. I thought the Shimano baseline brakes would be something I would have to upgrade fairly quickly. I was coming from a set of XT brakes, and I figured that there's no way they'd be as good. I was wrong. They are actually they're bang for your buck. They are actually doing extremely well. Minimal wear as far as the brake pads go. No noise still. I was worried about a little bit of the turkey warble starting to show up and things, but nothing there yet. So they've stayed nice and true. The rotors aren't bending at all. So I'm very happy. So that's what I like about the bike so far. Let's say it's a lot of fun to ride. I'm going out, I'm having fun, and having fun, I'm still setting fast times on segments. I know Strava, something that people don't want to talk about, but it is what it is. It shows up and the results are there. It's definitely faster than my old bike. Now, let's talk about some of the things that I don't like. First, let's address weight. I've done a couple things to try and take some weight off the bike that I'll get into as far as some of the modifications, but the bike is still stinking heavy. It started out at almost 32 pounds, and I've got it down to about 28 now. It's still a heavy bike. Do you notice it when you're on the bike? A little bit, but not as much as I thought I would. Again, I think that's the tires hiding it a lot, which is okay. But I don't know how much more weight I can really save on this bike to get it down. I mean, it's a plus tire bike. What are you going to do? You know, it's got the WTB scraper rims on it. I'm not a fan of drilling them, so I'm not going to touch the rims. I'm not going to touch the wheel sets any more than they already have, which I'm going to get into in a second. So weight, it's a heavy bike. And when you go to a lower model, it's not much heavier. The upper end one, I think is about a pound lighter. It comes with a Fox float fork on it and a couple other different things. Next up that I don't like, the finish. The finish on this bike, it looks cool. It takes a great picture. It's bright, but the finish sucks. Haro, I don't know what you guys were thinking, but when I go out on a ride and I'm tagging the paint just a little bit here and there, and the finish is flaking off on high wear areas, like around the rear wheel. What in the world? I don't understand how. Now these are areas that I haven't even touched yet. You know, if you look here, you're gonna see that's the black finish flaking off. Look all around here. Look at that. You know, the finish is just coming off. What does that mean? Well, it means that if I keep this bike, probably in the off season, when the snow comes in, if I'm still not riding it, it's probably going to get stripped down. I'll take it to the powder coaters and have it stripped, and then I'll have it repainted whatever color I want. But I have a feeling by the end of this summer, this bike's going to look pretty horrible as far as the finish goes. It's obvious what color they put down first. It's obvious it was white first. Next, so I went with the HT5, basically strictly on price, and it's bit me a couple times now in regards to reliability. On my very first ride, I was out playing around in the schoolyard. I was doing some hops up and down off of a picnic table, and I loaded up the rear hub a good bunch, and the stock hub that the bike came with blew apart. Literally, it blew apart. The very first ride, I had 2 miles on the bike. We took it back. Haro gave me the option to upgrade, so I ended up having them put on the XT hub in the back. So now it's got the Boost XT hub. I haven't had any problems with that now, which is good. But I shouldn't have had any problems with the first hub to begin with. This bike's got a sticker on it of, you know, like $1,300. That shouldn't happen. So be aware. Another reason to go to the next Haro Subvert if you can afford it. Next, the fork. All right, the Suntour, the SR Suntour fork. It's being spec'd on a lot of plus tire bikes right now, and I can't get the settings right to save my life. It's got a really annoying thump when you've got the rebound set properly. So every time you unload the front fork coming off a bump, it thumps really bad. So I've got to have the rebound turn way down to slow it down. It's still soaking up the bumps okay, but I'd love to get a lot more rebound out of it so that, you know, I can use it to come off some jumps and stuff a little bit better. The lockout works fine. I'm sure that the fork is a pretty heavy fork, and there's probably a little bit of weight there. We'll be finding out in the future as far as that goes. But come on, Suntour, you know, give us a decent fork. Or come on, Haro, I should say. Spec a decent fork on this. If Salsa can throw a Fox on their Timberjack, you can throw a Fox on this. So next year, please give us a better fork. Finally, and the biggest complaint of all, and one that I friggin' hate, and that is on my list of must-do, is the crankset. So this has the FSA Comet crankset on it. And before I had any problems with it, I already wasn't a fan because I wanted to put on one of the new Absolute Black oval chain rings. I had one of those on my old bike, and I wanted to put one on this, and I couldn't because Absolute Black doesn't make one for this. And they said they've got no plans to. And reading online, the reputation wasn't that good, and I was like, oh, okay. Got a few rides in, and the cinch bolt, the crank bolt on the non-drive side started working its way loose. Actually ended up falling out on one ride completely. And the reason why is because I went to go tighten it, and it was a 10 millimeter hex go go ahead and pull out your multi-tool that you carry with you in your bag. You're not going to find a 10mm hex in your multi-tool. Nobody puts one in their multi-tool. I called up Haro. They were sort of helpful. I ended up calling up FSA directly, and they ended up sending me a road bolt setup, which has a cap that fits down on top of it to kind of double tighten things. That worked for 2 rides. It's working its way loose again. So now I've got it totally tight. I've got it red Loctite on there for now. It's a temporary fix until I can decide what crankset I'm going to put on there. But it's getting a crankset because I'm tired of it. I don't like walking. I'm sure none of you like walking either. So that's getting fixed. FSA, you missed the mark on that. So what have I done to the bike so far? Started the very first thing you see, and every bike needs a dropper. Now, so I've got the KS11 on here. It's great on this bike because you can see there's no cables. It was a bit of a pain to route the internal routing to get down past here because everything's running down through the same lower tube, so it was a bit of a pain. I did the vacuum cleaner trick to get the cable work through, and that worked great for me. I think I'm going to be converting to the other prototype style of the lever. I'm going to have to service this soon, I think, already. And it's a little slow on uptake now, but we'll fix that. So that's the first thing I did. Next up, pedals. I've been thinking about going to flats, but for now, I'm still running these Time ATACs. I consider them more of a wear item. I get a season out of them, but they're cheap. So you can buy these on Amazon for 50 bucks. They're not that heavy, they're not that light. They get the job. They got a decent platform, so if I can't get locked in, they work. But maybe I'll try some flat pedals on this. My buddies are all riding flats and keep on telling me to give it a shot, so maybe I will. But for now, those will work. Next, the bar. It came with a Ritchie bar stock. It was heavy and it felt kind of numb. I really couldn't feel a lot in the front end. I had a race face carbon bar on my previous bike, so I decided I'll give it a shot on this one. So put the race face bar on here, and I love it so far. It's much more comfortable. It's the craziest thing on this bike is with the jumps that I'm going off now. I can see in videos, I actually see the bar flex. It's very comfortable. My hands aren't getting numb. I can feel what the bike's doing. So I'm very happy with the bar. And a little bit of weight savings too, but we're dealing with a plus size bike, so what are you going to do there? Biggest weight savings that I got on the bike was in going tubeless. Converting from tubes, because all bikes come from the factory with tubes. They don't ship tubeless because that's just what they do. Converted this to tubeless, and hands down, I saved over a pound per wheel going tubeless. That's huge. Definitely changed the feel of the bike. I was able to run much lower pressures, and it's rotating mass. So I'm very happy going tubeless. I recommend everybody try it. If you're not going tubeless yet, go tubeless. And then the final thing I've done, grips. I ended up putting on a set of the limited edition Vans grips from ODI, and they are comfortable. They get rid of sweat. I ride a lot without gloves. You can ride with gloves, without gloves, whatever you want to do. But because of the pattern, my hands don't get slippery. So I'm very happy with the grip so far. Oh, and I've got Homer Simpson for a cap now. So that's the bike so far. Like I said, coming up in the future, the two most important things for me on the bike next up, number one, that stinking stupid crankset's going away, and number two, that sticky, funking, heavy mess of a fork is going away. So look for videos in the future to address both of those, but for right now, I'm going to keep riding, because that's why I bought the bike, isn't it? Alright, take it easy guys, see you next time.